Hey, Dr. Aziz here, and today I am excited to share with you the most powerful secret to building your confidence. If you just apply this in your life, your confidence can radically increase because the truth is confidence is a skill, and you're going to learn more exactly about how to do that in today's video. First, I want to start by thanking you for all the comments and the questions. I love reading through those, and I'm going to answer some of the concerns and questions that people had, that you had, in this video. I want to make sure I get to as many of those as I can. And I'm just incredibly excited about the responses that we're getting and the interest in the Confidence Code, because I think this program, which is going to teach you these things, is a powerful tool. And I don't think there's anything out there like it, because a lot of the stuff that people teach, they haven't lived, or they overcame it themselves, but they haven't worked with thousands of people to see, well, actually what creates the shifts. And so I think this is a pretty unique program, and I'm pretty excited about it. So real quickly though, I want to recap in the last video. If you haven't watched it, you can go ahead and click on this page and watch it now. But we covered the 3 myths. Do you remember what they were? These are the things that you tell yourself that are stopping you. So if I'm going to share this big secret with you about how to build your confidence, but you have these things you're telling yourself on a daily basis, like, oh, I can't do it, and I'm no good, and these specific myths, then you're not going to be able to take action. You're not going to be able to make progress on this stuff. And what are the 2 things you need to make progress on? And here's a little quick recap here. The 2 things you need to build in order to create the confidence that you want, the 2 pieces of the puzzle. That's right, self-esteem and social skills. And what are the 3 myths? What are the things that get in the way, that stop us? Well, one is the different species myth. That person that's really confident over there, they're so different than I am. They're almost like a different species. They were just born with it and I wasn't. They're awesome and I'm sort of subhuman mutant, right? And that's total what? BS. The second myth is that I'm helpless. I can't do that. I can't do that. And we caught ourselves from saying that. Maybe I'm curious over the last few days, if you notice yourself saying I can't, and how to shift that and say, oh, I could, but I'm scared. That gives you a lot more power when you're honest with yourself like that. And the third thing is the self-solving myth. Yeah, what have I been telling myself about how this is going to shift? This will just go away on its own in the future. And as you know now, that it will not shift until you take action to shift it. And I'm incredibly excited about the program, the Confidence Code, because it teaches you exactly how to shift it. And when you can shift it, you can really change your confidence level. And that's what the most exciting thing. I mean, I swear, I work with people day in and day out. I have people that talk to me from all over the world. I have people that come in for weekend intensives. And those are one of my favorite things, because then I'm watching them. And I'm watching them in action, and I'm seeing the moment where they're like, the world is different than I always imagined. There's like this sort of brain frying moment where all of a sudden, the way they've been seeing themselves, the stories they've been telling themselves, what they believe is possible, how people respond to them, everything changes. And it's fun, and I get a high off of that because I remember that experience in myself about when, whoa, the world's not what I thought. And there's this euphoria that can come with that because there's a sense of freedom. And you want to know what that euphoria is? Because I've been so curious, I've been studying it for so long. That, I believe, is your natural self coming back online, back alive. And that's what this is all about. Because you want to be your confident self, because that's just you in your core. When you were a little kid, when you were a 3 or 2-year-old or a 4-year-old, you didn't have all this garbage stopping you from being yourself. You just let it out and you felt alive. And trust me, it's possible to get there again. And that's what I love about this work. That's why I'm so excited. And this thing I'm going to share with you now, this big secret, is going to help you in that process. So what is the most powerful secret to build confidence today? Do you want to know what it is? It's repetition. Repetition is the biggest secret to building your confidence. Let me explain what I mean. So let's say you're going to learn in the code self-esteem and social skills. Let's say there's a social skill that you want to be able to do. Maybe you want to be able to talk more comfortably to people. And inside the code, you're going to learn exactly how to do that, what to say, how to start the conversations, how to keep them going, how to never run out of things to say. But let's just say that's something you wanted to do, and you can learn that. It's a skill. I'll teach you how to do it. But how are you going to apply that skill? How are you going to really master that skill? How are you really going to learn that? Repetition, right? So I was talking with a guy just the other day, and he reached out to me, and we were chatting about his situation. He said, yeah, you know, I was listening to some of your stuff. I listened to your podcast, and it was encouraging me to go out there and try this stuff. So, you know, I'm really scared about being rejected, but I did it. And I put myself out there, and I talked to some people, and it didn't go well. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. You know, it doesn't feel good if it doesn't go well. how did it not go well? What happened? He's like, well, it kind of stalled out and it got awkward and I didn't know what to say and they looked at me weird and then I left. I was like, oh. And I just cringed because I've been there. I'm just like, oh God, I know. And then I was like, okay, that sucks. Well, then so how many times is this happening all the time? Or how many times have you tried this? And he's like, oh, yeah, I know, I tried it. I tried it that once. I was like, oh, okay. And this is where there was a disconnect because he thought it was like, I'm just going to do this once and then everything's going to change. Look, if anyone's telling you that, do this thing once and everything's going to change forever, be very wary about what's happening because I think that's a fancy sales technique or marketing or something. Because the truth is, I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to help you get liberation. And this isn't to try to sell you something. This is about, I have experienced this. I've helped thousands of other people experience this, and I want you to experience this. That's why I'm doing this, because I'm so passionate about this. I'm so excited about this because it's possible to be free. It's my mission in this world. I call it Operation Mass Liberation. How do I help free as many people so no one is stuck in the pain that I was? That's how I can take that pain and make it valuable, make it worthwhile in my life, make it mean something. And so someone's saying that you can just shift it by some sort of, do it once with this affirmation and then never have to actually face your fear or try this stuff. It's BS. The truth is you just got repetition. We got to do it. You know why? Because it's a skill. Social confidence is a skill. I remember my brother, so I play the guitar, and my brother wanted to learn how to play the guitar. This was many years ago. And he got a guitar, and at the time we lived in the same city, so he's like, hey, you can show me some stuff. And I was like, great, I'm so excited, I love to share, and I'd love for you to be able to play them. We could jam together, even though I wasn't that good. But so we sat down for his first guitar lesson after some dinner at his place, and he had the guitar in his lap, and I had mine, and I was like, okay, so here's your basic thing, here's your C, first, chords are hard, let's just play some single notes. So I showed him like a single note Nirvana song. And Come As You Are, if you're familiar with that one. That's the first one that I learned. And so he's like, it's just 3 notes, right? And so he's trying to play it. And he was so timid. And it was like, and he'd hit a bad note and be like, oh, okay, I got to start over again. And he was just so worried. I had to stop him. I was like, Tarek, which is his name, Tarek, what's going on? He's like, I uncovered what was going on. He was, and remember, this is not about your social confidence. This is just about the guitar. Anyway, he said, I was like, why is he so timid? He's like, I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake. If I make a mistake, it's going to sound and look real bad, and I don't think I'm ever going to get this. That's what was going through his mind as he's trying to learn the guitar. In his first lesson, I'm going to make a mistake. Mistakes can be real bad. I'm never going to get this. Does that sound familiar? I bet it does, right? On some level, we have these fears. I'm going to make these mistakes socially, interacting with people. I'm going to make a fool out of myself. I'm going to feel embarrassed, and it's going to be awkward, and then I can never get this. I'm never going to get this. And guess what? Those are just fears. They're false evidence appearing real. They are false. It's a skill. If my brother sat down and played the guitar for 15 minutes a day for 3 weeks, he could play basic songs and he could play basic chords. There's no, unless he's missing his left hand or something, but he wasn't. He has the ability. If you're missing your, if you can't interact with people, you don't have a head, then you can't do it. But you do. You have a head, you have a voice box, you have eyes, you can look at people, you can talk to people. I've seen people who are blind do this. So it's not like, I got a limitation. No. It's just these fears. And you can get out there and do this if you just apply yourself. And then there's some objections. And these are some things I saw in the comments and concerns people have. One is, what if this doesn't really work? I don't know if this is going to work. It's stuff that you're teaching, it's the program. I don't know. Does it really work? And the only thing I can say is, yes, it does. It's formulaic. I'm not so brilliant for having come up with this. This is tried and true in psychology. It's called exposure, gradual exposure. You put yourself in the situation again and again and you learn. People who have been mastering skills for years know this. So if you wanted to go talk to people and casually start conversations, guess what? If you started 3 conversations a day for 3 weeks, you'd be phenomenally better. Phenomenally. 95% of people that are stuck or afraid or worried just won't do it because those confident myths get in the way. And if they somehow break through the myths, then there's fears. And then if there's not fears, there's doubts. That's why I want to bust all these doubts. So yes, it does work. Some people say, yeah, but I don't know if it's going to work for me. I don't know if it's going to work for me. And that's just another, it's just another fear. You know, there's two things that people say at this point. I don't know if it's going to work for me. You know, sure, the program's good, or you're a great coach, or this, I'm sure that works for other people, but I don't think it's going to work for me. / I'm not good enough to do this. And you know what? That is just what I call your safety police. There's a part inside of us that does not want us to go outside of our comfort zone. And that's what repetition, that's all I'm talking about, is repetition of what? Repetition of something that's outside your comfort zone. And your comfort zone is a place you live that's comfortable, that's the behaviors you do, the type of clothes you wear, the way you talk to people. One client I talked to, his comfort zone was he walked into his office, he didn't interact with anyone, he sat down in his cubicle and he started working. That was his comfort zone. But guess what? He wasn't interacting with people, and soon, eventually, people at work just started to ignore him. And he wanted to shift this pattern, but he felt stuck. And so, but he told himself, I'm not good enough. It's not going to work out for me. And you know what that did? That just kept him in his comfort zone. It was total BS. The truth is he could learn. If he just started talking to people at work, he would have an entirely different experience because you train people on how to treat you. And so if you avoid them and ignore them day after day after day after day, eventually they'll ignore you. You've trained them. But if you greet them and say, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? You do that day after day after day, guess what? You come into the office and they say, hey, how's it going? Because you've trained them. So it's just your safety, please. It's just that part of you that says, don't go outside your comfort zone. It's scary out there. It's not safe. And you know what? If you want to live your life trying to stay in that safety zone, then you're going to, welcome to a world of hurt, a world of pain. You got to break outside of it. You got to take those little risks. Now, don't go do something crazy way outside the comfort zone. Just do something small. Just say hi to some people. Just start one conversation with someone at work that you kind of already know so it's not too threatening. Whatever it is for you, find that one thing and do it. And write in the comments below what it is that you're going to do, what you're committed to doing, what you're learning, how you're going to break through these objections. Write, share with us, ask your questions, because the more you commit to that, to me and to the community here, the more you're going to make those shifts in your life. In the spirit of making those shifts, in the next video, I want to share with you how to overcome that self-doubt that stops you from being able to talk more freely with others, that stops you from being able to just share what's going on. Because that's a big part of developing those social skills, just be able to talk with people, interact with people, and there's that self-doubt that gets in the way. We're going to show you how to shift that in the next video. So stay tuned for that. You'll also get more information about the upcoming confidence code, when that's coming out, and how to get it, and all that stuff. And go ahead and click below and share your thoughts, comments. I'd love to read them, love to hear them. I can integrate them into the next videos and that sort of thing. So I look forward to talking to you in a few days.